Hello, friends, and a very warm welcome back to the garden. It is a beautiful, deeply quiet afternoon here today. The air is remarkably still. The sun is just starting to dip below the tree line, and my hands still have a little bit of rich, dark soil clinging to them, which is honestly my favourite feeling in the world. I have just poured myself a warm, steaming cup of herbal tea, and I sincerely invite you to pause, sit down, and do exactly the same. Today, we are going to spend a little time together talking about the quiet magic of beginnings. Specifically, we'll explore how a completely bare, perhaps somewhat uninspiring space can gracefully become the most welcoming part of your entire home. Have you ever stood in front of your own doorstep? Maybe it is just a plain concrete slab, a weathered wooden porch, or a narrow apartment landing, and wished it felt just a bit more alive. I know that feeling so intimately. When you are currently renting, or if you are simply a busy beginner with very little free time to spare, taking on a massive, back-breaking landscaping project just isn't a realistic option. But the beautiful truth is, you do not need a sprawling country estate to create real botanical magic. You just need a single, thoughtfully chosen container, a smart, scientific plan, and exactly 30 days. That is precisely what we are going to do today with our 30-day Front Door Flower Makeover. By the time we finish our tea today, you will know exactly how to engineer a dense, lush, and incredibly photogenic container arrangement that looks as if it has been growing happily for years, but actually only takes 1 month to reach its absolute peak. We will be using a high-impact, rapid turnaround method that relies on a little bit of plant science and a lot of gentle care. I will guide you step by step through our plant selection, the perfect soil mix, and the specific daily timeline you need. This is all about immediate visual joy, designed perfectly to keep your spirits high and to welcome you home every single day. To achieve a densely packed, breathtaking display so quickly, we rely on a timeless, beautifully balanced horticultural blueprint, the Thriller, Filler, Spiller method. Our selected plants are engineered by nature for rapid vegetative growth and immediate, stunning floral yield. Let's start with our Thriller, which provides the vertical architecture of our pot. I absolutely love using purple fountain grass, botanically known as Pennisetum cetaceum rubrum. It provides instant, dramatic height, and its graceful burgundy arching plumes give our container a sweeping, kinetic energy before a single flower even blooms. For our filler, the lush biomass and colourful middle foliage of the arrangement, we turn to the spectacular coleus. Specifically, I highly recommend cultivars from the Premium Sun series, like Campfire or Watermelon. Coleus brings intense, high-contrast colours and a beautifully dense, bushy habit. We want these plants because they have high phenotypic plasticity, meaning they adapt beautifully to our pruning techniques and the sunlight conditions of a front porch. Their vibrant, painted foliage completely eliminates the need to wait for traditional flowers to get a pop of dramatic colour. Finally, for our spillers, the romantic elements that gracefully cascade over the pot's edge, we are going to use ornamental sweet potato vine, or Ipomoea batatas. I love the margarita variety for its incredible glowing chartreuse colour. To accompany those trailing vines and provide deep, rich floral mass, we will thoughtfully tuck in zonal geraniums, or pelargonium. The combination of the bright, lobed sweet potato leaves with the large, vibrant flower umbels of the geranium creates a deeply photogenic texture that is so pleasing to the eye. Before we get our hands dirty and begin planting, we need to understand the environment these beauties naturally crave. According to the wonderful research from the University of Florida's Extension Program, plants like our coleus and fountain grass require a high daily light integral. This simply means they need a minimum of 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight, roughly 60 to 80,000 lux at peak daytime, to produce those deep, rich leaf colours. Furthermore, our soil pH should sit comfortably right around 6.0 to 6.5. This slight, gentle acidity keeps vital micronutrients, especially iron, completely soluble and incredibly easy for the roots to drink up. Let's quietly move to day 1, substrate engineering. The foundation of a healthy garden is always the pot and the soil. You will want to select an 18 to 24-inch weatherproof resin or a beautiful glazed ceramic pot. Please ensure it has at least 3 half-inch drainage holes at the bottom. We are going to fill this entirely with a fluffy, homogeneous mix of 60% sphagnum peat moss, 20% coarse perlite, 10% composted pine bark, and 10% rich worm castings. This precise ratio holds moisture and nutrients perfectly without ever staying soggy or heavy. Now, I want to share a quick but absolutely critical tip with you. Please do not put gravel or broken pieces of pottery in the bottom of your pot. I know it's a very old, beloved gardening myth, but science tells us otherwise. Extensive research from Penn State Extension explains that water does not move easily from fine potting soil into coarse gravel. Instead, it creates a perched water table, a zone of totally saturated, oxygen-deprived soil sitting right at the boundary above the gravel. This actively pushes rotting, soggy soil much closer to your plant's delicate root systems. Always fill your pot 100% to the bottom with your uniform potting mix. On day 2, it is time for the fun part, high-density planting execution. We are intentionally going to pack these plants much tighter than traditional landscape spacing. Go ahead and plant your lovely fountain grass dead center. Next, gently space the coleus and geraniums just 4 to 5 inches away from the grass. Finally, place the sweet potato vine about 2 inches from the pot's rim, angled slightly outward so it knows exactly where to trail. Water everything in deeply with a gentle, root-stimulating solution featuring liquid kelp. This beautifully tight spacing forces the plants to compete for sunlight, which drives incredibly rapid upward growth. When you are nestling these plants into their new soil home, please be so gentle with their root systems. These specific species have highly aggressive, fibrous root mats rather than deep taproots. Make absolutely sure you align the crown of each plant, which is the exact spot where the green stem meets the roots, precisely with the soil line. Burying that crown too deeply is a surefire way to accidentally introduce stem rot caused by naturally occurring soil fungi like Rhizoctonia. Keep them sitting proud, level, and able to breathe, and they will reward you beautifully. Fast forward to day 10 in our journey. Your lovely little plants are settling in, but it is time to intervene with a technique we call apical pruning, or just gently pinching them back. Take a clean, sterilized pair of microsnips and simply snip off the top 1 inch of growth on your coleus and geraniums. Don't touch the grass or the vines. The Royal Horticultural Society beautifully notes that this halts the downward flow of auxins, which are the plant hormones that suppress side growth. Breaking this apical dominance forces the plants to bush out aggressively, magically turning a leggy nursery plant into a dense, magnificent masterpiece. By days 15 through 20, we joyfully enter the climax blooming phase. Now, we softly shift our nutrients to support those incredible geranium flowers. Begin using a liquid-soluble 15-30-15 fertilizer applied as a gentle soil drench at half strength every 5 days. That targeted phosphorus spike directs the plant's energy straight into dense bud formation. Also, be sure to lovingly rotate your pot 90 degrees clockwise every 3 days. Front doors usually get sunlight from one direct, unidirectional source, and this simple rotation completely prevents your beautiful arrangement from awkwardly leaning toward the sun. As you care for this container over the month, I encourage you to take a moment to really experience it. The rich soil should feel like an expensive, crumbly chocolate cake, spongy, yielding softly to the finger, leaving a lovely, cool sensation, but absolutely no muddy residue on your skin. When you gently brush against the geranium leaves, they feel slightly scalloped, textured almost like fine grit felt. Brushing them releases a sudden, delightful burst of a sharp, green citrus aroma. That gorgeous scent isn't just wonderful to breathe in, it naturally deters soft-bodied pests and is a brilliant biological signal of robust plant health. Visually, the textures you are cultivating are just astounding. When you look very closely at the coleus, you will see microscopic, velvety little hairs on the leaves. These quietly capture the ambient evening sunlight, creating a stunning, glowing magenta halo effect during golden hour. Below that, the chartreuse sweet potato vine cascades with a neon, almost glaucous sheen over the textured lip of the ceramic pot. And those deep burgundy seed heads on the fountain grass, they move with a sweeping, kinetic elegance in the afternoon breeze, instantly providing soft, organic life against the backdrop of static brick or siding. But of course, even in a peaceful garden, things can sometimes go slightly awry, and that is perfectly okay. Let's talk about a few troubleshooting diagnostics so you feel fully empowered and relaxed. The first is the heat sink bake. Front doors, especially those facing west or south with brick facades, can trap incredible amounts of reflected infrared heat. If you notice the very edges of your coleus leaves turning crispy and brown, but the soil itself is still nice and wet, this is simply environmental scorch, not a lack of water. It is just the microclimate getting a little bit too toasty for them. Another common hurdle for absolute beginners is the tendency to overwater with too much love, which can lead to Pythium root rot. According to the incredibly helpful Cornell University Plant Disease Clinic, the diagnostic sign is very clear. If your geranium leaves turn completely yellow and drop off, and the stems turn black and mushy at the soil line, while the plant wilts even when the soil is visibly very wet, this simply means the delicate fibrous roots have rotted and can no longer pull up water. Just remember to always let that top 2 inches of soil dry out, feeling like our crumbly chocolate cake, before offering them another drink. Sometimes, using hard municipal tap water continuously can slowly raise your soil pH above 7, causing a little nutrient lockout. If you see the veins on your sweet potato vine remaining a stark, dark green, while the tissue between them turns bright yellow, that is just iron insolubility. And if you ever happen to notice tiny, silvery, stippled streaks on the foliage accompanied by microscopic black specks, you might have a minor thrips infestation. Please do not worry, this is so normal. A very gentle wipe down with a mild neem oil solution will softly send those little sapsuckers packing. Before we wrap up our time today, I want to gently dispel one more enduring garden myth that worries so many people. You may have heard that watering your beautiful plants in the middle of a sunny day will burn the leaves because the little water droplets act like magnifying glasses. Science actually dictates that a water droplet resting on a flat leaf lacks the focal length required to concentrate sunlight enough to burn tissue before it simply evaporates into the air. If you see leaf damage after midday watering, it is almost always due to simple salt accumulation from the water source, or just a sudden thermal shock to hot roots if very cold water is applied. By the time you reach day 30, your patience, love, and gentle daily care will have paid off completely. It is time for a little peaceful grooming, just gently snipping away any slightly yellowing older leaves at the base. What you are left with is a spectacular container, fully flush with beautiful cascading vines, dense mid-level foliage, and high-impact vertical blooms. The tubular florets of the geranium and the sweet micro-blooms of the coleus will soon be buzzing gently with common eastern bumblebees. The glorious sight of a fuzzy, pollen-laden bee navigating that bright floral architecture is the absolute peak of a truly welcoming entryway. Thank you so much for joining me in the garden today and for sharing a cup of tea. There is truly nothing quite like taking a bare, quiet space and breathing vibrant life into it with your own two hands. I would absolutely love to hear what is currently growing by your front door right now. Please leave me a comment below and let's chat about it. If you enjoyed our peaceful time together, I invite you to subscribe for more cozy garden talks. Until next time, take wonderful care of yourselves, take gentle care of your plants, and happy growing.